Hello YouTube, I welcome you all to another simultaneous teardown. And before I get started going over all the reels, I just want to take a second and say I appreciate you guys for spending your time here. I know your time is valuable, and the last thing I want to do is waste anybody's time. The whole purpose of these reviews is to help you guys either make a purchasing decision, save some coin. With all these new reels that are coming out with this year's iCast and previous iCasts, are the new iterations worth it compared to what's already out? So I'm trying to help you guys out through what I'm capable of doing on YouTube. And I get that, yeah, there's a lot of information. These videos are long, but there's a lot to see. There's a lot of information. And I also want to say, if this was helpful, if you guys enjoyed this, do me a favor. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, definitely hit that like button. It helps more people find my videos more often. And if you plan on making a purchase, whether it be from eBay or Amazon, check out the links in the description below. I'm an Amazon and eBay affiliate. All purchases made through any of those links in the description will directly support my channel. And if you want to make a direct financial contribution to my channel, I am set up on Patreon. I'm planning on doing some really big giveaways to all my Patreon supporters in the upcoming months. So get signed up now on my Patreon back channel if you want to support me directly. And I greatly appreciate all the support you guys have offered so far. With that being said, let us get started. This is going to be fun. Alright, so I kind of decided to start this off a little bit differently. Instead of spinning the table around, I'm just going to go over some rough numbers and specifications on these reels. From the left to right, you have the Abu Antares Steez Daiwa. And starting with the handles, 91 millimeter. 17.03 grams. The Antares handles 94 millimeters, 26 3/4 grams. The Steez SV TWS is 91 millimeters and 20.5 grams. Now, two things right off the bat: the Steez and the Abu are swept handle. Swept handles, to this degree, and if you're bass fishing, aren't the biggest, bonus feature out there. It's nice to have that handle kind of canted inward, so your handle when you're turning the reel is kind of closer to the center line of the reel. But for bass fishing, it's not the biggest deal. You're not really trying to fight that reel, to stay upright. On heavier saltwater reels, a wider reel kind of gets a little bit more fatiguing than these little narrow freshwater reels. So not a ding on the Shimano. Although the Metaniums, the 2013 Metanium had a swept handle, so this reel came out well after that. So I'm surprised I didn't incorporate that. And it also came out after the Calcutta D, which moved the drag star on the other outside of the handle to get the handle closer to the center line. So it's not like they don't think that it's a valuable feature. They just opted not to include it in the Antares. So with that said, you have the drag star of the Abu. It's carbon fiber with the aluminum click plate, and it weighs 4.32 grams. The Antares, solid aluminum all throughout, weighs 6.13. And the Steez, I think this is Zion. I guess I can read up on that, but it weighs 6.15. Next up, we have the handle side plates. The Abu Garcia uses a very reliable clutch. It's the same clutch that you've seen on other reels. It's not branded. I'm not going to assume anything. Might be an NSK, I'm not sure. It's plenty powerful. It's pretty well pressed in there. You're not going to easily push it out without really hammering on it. Carbon composite side plate, ball bearing underneath the spool tension adjustment knob, also has a clicky. And yeah, the drag stars on all of these are clicking drag stars, just to give you an idea also. And the side plate for the Abu weighs 20.65 grams. The Antares, very thick aluminum, very robust side plate. Again, that same brown AR clutch. I've never seen one of these fail other than from being exposed a little bit too much in the corrosion department. But again, this side plate is the heaviest of the bunch. It weighs more than double the other ones. 45.74 grams. And a clicky spool tension adjustment knob, if that's what tickles your fancy. It also incorporates a ball bearing on the outside, something that Abu does not. And having a ball bearing up here, as well as on the opposite side of the pinion, in my opinion, are 2 points of support that really go a long way to making a reel feel very, I don't want to say smooth, but smooth, especially under load. Whereas with the Abu, you're basically running on that anti-reverse clutch sleeve. So instead of a ball bearing, your handle is turning on the anti-reverse clutch sleeve. So the other guys here, the handle's crankshaft comes up, rides in this little ball bearing here, and then you have your anti-reverse clutch sleeve that's kind of independent. Better design, especially for this class of reel. Then you have the Steez. No clicky on the spool tension adjustment knob. Me personally, I don't want or need, well, I don't need a clicking spool tension adjustment knob. I don't go by how many clicks. I go essentially by, set the tension adjustment knob so it has a slight impact to the spool so it doesn't go side to side. Then I back it off enough that there's just the slightest bit of play. I don't use a spool tension adjustment knob for any kind of braking at all whatsoever. But the side plate of the Steez is magnesium, and again, it incorporates the bearing on the top side of the anti-reverse clutch, so it kind of isolates the AR clutch, lets it do its job. And this is a NSK branded, made in Japan AR clutch bearing. And you'll see these little pieces of white, I guess well, I'm not going to go nuts trying to figure out what kind of plastic it is, but any place on the Steez that's magnesium that has anything that could rub up against the finish has a protective piece of plastic over top of it, nice little touch. So that way you're not going to scratch through that or wear through that coating, exposing bare magnesium. Now to the handle side plates. Sorry, the non-handle side plates. So you now have 3 drastically different braking systems. The Steez uses a magnetic / centrifugal brake. The Garcia Revo MGXTreme2 uses what they call the IVCB4 variable centrifugal brake, and the Shimano uses the SVS Infinity centrifugal brake. In terms of casting, all of these reels cast very well. You can cast thumb free depending on what setting you use. If you go up on the Daiwa, if you go up over, I'd say 7 or 8, you never have to use your thumb, essentially even at splashdown. If you have more than 2 red brakes activated on the on the Antares, and you have the dial set to 6, you can essentially cast thumb free, and anything over basically 50% or halfway up on the MGX, you can throw pretty much thumb free. All these reels have exceptional casting performance. The best caster of the bunch for most applications happens to be the Garcia Revo MGXTREME2. Unfortunately, you can't really use that reel efficiently for most applications. It's a true finesse reel. It has the same exact capacity as the Antares, but the drag itself is limited to under 6 pounds. So if you're fishing spinnerbaits, jigs around vegetation, you can't really snap the grass off the line. A lot of guys that fish spinnerbaits like to buzzsaw that grass off the spinnerbaits or off the braid, and you just can't do that with the MGX. The Daiwa Steez and the Antares, you can. The Steez will outcast the Antares, whether it be for crankbaits, jerkbaits, jigs, spinnerbaits. It's pretty close as far as total distance, but it does edge it out more consistently and more easily. Now, the one thing that was kind of funny with the Antares, the one thing it outcast both of them, which made no sense. I didn't believe that there was going to be a type of bait that it would cast further. A Senko. A Z-Man knockoff, whatever Z-Man Senkos are called. I was able to consistently cast over 100 feet, between 100 and 107 feet, whereas the other two, it was getting tricky to get over 95 feet. So I know maximum distance isn't the biggest deciding factor on what reel to buy, but it's pretty interesting when you go out on a measured field and really see what they're capable of. And I gotta say, I have the most fun throwing the Steez. I can go up and down as high or low as I want. Generally speaking, I'll keep the brake setting at 4, and that's with very fast ball bearings. Stock bearings, but you lube them with a kind of a custom concoction. It's a very thin lubrication, and it just throws. The one knock I have with the Antares brake is out of the box comes with all red brakes. I found that if you go down to one red brake with the Antares, you can't cover all situations. So if you put one red brake on and adjust the dial to 6 all the way up, you can cover the majority of situations. However, you can't really go down unless you have a very well-educated thumb and it's not windy. You can put one red brake on and you can go down to 2 or 3 to get real distance out of it. But the second the wind kicks up, you have to open up the side plate, add a second brake. And if you add a second red brake, you're losing a lot of distance. So you have to, out of the box, change out at least 2 of the reds to 2 whites. And I find that the best overall casting performance for the most variety of situations is 1 red, 1 white, and the dial set at 2. That's where I got the best distance, and I'll show you later on what I mean by that. But overall, all 3 of these reels are very good casters. You can't go wrong with either one, but I do prefer the versatility of the Steez. I can throw low, I can throw high, I can skip real easy. I never have to open up the side plate, and I can get good maximum distance on a lot of baits throwing. I throw braid, so anytime I'm talking about casting distance, it's braid or braid with a leader. I don't fish straight fluoro or fish straight mono very often. I only have 1 or 2 reels set up with the stretchy stuff. So, all right, and now in terms of what these side plates are made out of, the MGXTreme2 uses their high carbon content plastic, as does Daiwa Steez. The Antares is made out of aluminum, and it shows in the weight. The Antares weighs 32 1/4 grams. The Abu Garcia weighs 14 3/4, and the Steez is 21 1/4 grams. And they could, this reel was out well after their CI4 was used in other reels. I'm just shocked they opted not to go with it. That could have cut down quite a bit on weight with no real penalty. But again, when it comes to the Antares, and you look at all the other reels out now that are trying to go for lighter weight, when you go with aluminum gears and you go with carbon composite side plates, you do get a different feel introduced into the reel. It resonates differently, and it doesn't dampen that resonance. And when you compare the micro module gears to the standard gears, I'll go over a little bit of, I don't know, I think the micro module is a little tiny bit of snake oil, but they look cool. But all right, so now that we covered this, we got all the weights out of the way, and let's get to the spinny table. See if we can't lose stuff by spinning it too fast.